Welcome back. This is your host, Angie, for the Intuitive Life Coach. I wanted to share with you all a little bit of some stuff I'm picking up in the energy. It's pretty interesting, and I would say this is a collective message for any human that is led to listen to this. So before I jump into that, I will share a little bit about myself. My name's Angie, of course, and I am an intuitive life coach, a Reiki master, sound healer, and meditation and mindfulness teacher. I also worked in the mental health field all of my life, and so I have understanding on trauma-based practices and working with a diverse group of people. I now support others in their healing process and use intuitive insights, help people heal spiritually, and to release blocks that are keeping them from moving forward towards any goal or anything they would like to achieve in their life, I guess. So if you are one of those, if you are a life coach, if you are a healer, if you are a guide, leader, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're finding yourself in this moment of struggle and not really sure how to get past it, I would love to meet with you, set up a free call, see what we can do to get you past this, because I know how frustrating that is. Very much so. Which that kind of leads me into the topic today. And I will start out by saying, I've always had intuitive understanding. I've always kind of had so if you listen to some of my early podcasts, you will hear, or my episodes, you will hear that I came from a really religious background, and I kind of went through a deconstruction, or I did go through a deconstruction, and really came into myself and started to embrace my giftings a little bit more since I released all that mindset that being psychic is demonic, or being a medium is bad, or using intuitive insights or tarot or oracle card, all that I was taught in the religious setting as being negative and demonic and bad. I finally embraced my gifts that I had my entire life and am not hiding them any longer. So throughout my life, I always had insights and understandings on, I would get these dreams or messages, or I would see things. Sometimes I would just know something, and I would always have this ability to see. I always saw shadows. I always sensed energy shifts and the presence of spirits. I've always kind of had that ability. I just didn't really embrace it much because I spent most of from 16 into my mid-30s in the religious setting where I was being taught that those things were demonic. However, I'm coming to understand in my deconstruction over the years that these are actually gifts that were given to support one another and to help other people. So that is why I do what I do now. That being said, with the messages I have been receiving lately, I want to take it back to one I received in November of 2021. And so it'll be a year, here in a couple months, that I actually received this message. And I find it really interesting that the Spirit's bringing it back into my mind now. So back in November of 2021, I was going through a lot of grief still. I had lost my dad in September 2020 due to cancer, and it was really, really hard for me. I actually was present with him that night when he passed, and having been going through deconstruction, I was really confused about where he was and like what I believed in the afterlife and all that stuff. So he ended up coming to visit me and sharing with me the experiences that he was having in the spirit, what it's like on the other side. And I actually wrote about that in my book, Leaf Lessons, if you want to get that and read more about some of that insight that my dad came back to give me in spirit. But before that time, I would say probably in the last 4 to 5 years, and then particularly even more so after my dad passed, my giftings just enhanced. Like, I was just getting downloads, I was hearing messages, I was having relatives visit me that had passed, I was seeing other people's relatives, I was hearing from guides and angels, and it just got, like, for a while, I really thought I was losing my mind because it was like this amplified spiritual growth and awakening. And like, I couldn't even like wrap my mind around what was happening to me. And I was just getting message after message after message. And a lot of them were about my life in particular. But this message I felt like it was for the world, really. So I heard when I think I was like right when I was waking up when I heard this. So I heard the words, as in the days of Noah, get ready for the shift that is about to come on the earth. There will be a flood and a wiping out. So at the time, I was like, what? So I knew the teachings from the Bible because I had been in a religious setting for a long time. I have read the Bible many, many times. I know all about it. So intuitively, I was trying to dig in and be like, am I getting a message that the Bible's right? And like, there's going to be another flood like Noah had or whatever. And when I started to really dig in, I realized it wasn't like an actual, or at least this is what I interpret at the time. It wasn't actual like water of flood, but there was going to be a flooding of something spiritual in the year 2022. And so I remember I had gotten on TikTok that day and I shared that message, and I still have it. If you want to go find my TikTok, that's totally fine. It's Leaf Lessons. And so I did pin that, and then I shared some more intuitive messages actually about what I'm talking about right now. So on there, anyways, that's just a side note. But a couple days ago, I would say over the weekend, because it's like Wednesday now, but over the weekend, I got another intuitive hit. As I was waking up, excuse me, my goodness, wow. As I was waking up, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry. Anyways, I hope you didn't hear that. Maybe you did, but I'm pretty sure you didn't. Anyways, I don't know. Get back to the subject, Andy. Okay, as I was waking up, I actually heard clarity about that message. I got an insight on it. And I had a vision and a picture of all the floods happening around the earth right now. And if you Google what's going on, there's like been floods in Tennessee and Texas, I believe Pakistan. I think there's just been a whole bunch of them all over the place. And I had ran across a video of somebody showing like how dirty the water was in one of these places. And as I was waking up this morning, I saw that. It flashed through my head. And what I heard was, this is the awakening. This is the second awakening. This is the healing. This is the squeezing out of the stagnant water and energy. So what I heard back in November of 2021 is actually coming into, like, is happening. And the things that we're seeing in the physical, actual, real life, what we can see with our human eyes, is representing what is happening in the spiritual for many, many people right now. So if you're going through this really crazy time of awakening or changing, or your beliefs are kind of all over the place, you're not really sure what you think or believe anymore, or you're feeling like pushed into healing or trauma work or inner child or shadow work, whatever it is part of what is happening spiritually for the collective right now. What is going on is it's almost as if the spirit is squeezing out the stagnant, dirty water. It's almost like if we were a rag, you take the rag and you squeeze out the gross old water, and then you run new clear water into it. And so all this release is happening in us so that we can move forward into our callings, into our purpose, into having clarity and understanding about how we are meant to be in this world and serving it. We're getting back in touch with our consciousness, with our Christ-like consciousness. We're getting back in touch with our understanding of our spirit and where it came from and who we really truly are on the inside, not just our ego self. But we can't get to that place unless there's a releasing of this toxic, stagnant energy. I really see this as if these negative energies we've been holding on to for so long are these like barriers and dams around us in our aura, in our energy field. And because of those dams, it's just like when water comes up against a dam, that's usually where you're going to see a lot of murky water, dirty water. Like you're going to see some moss, you're going to see a lot of stuff growing in that area. Like if you go to like a lake or a body of water where there's a lot of like there's something that water's hitting up against, that is usually where you will find all the filth, like trash, everything. So what is happening is all this energy has been trying to release for a long time, but we haven't known how to do it. We haven't known how to really dig in and allow it to happen. And so we actually hold on to it because it's familiar. It's safe to us. It's our old mindset. It's our old traumas. It's our own, it's how we've survived in our lives up until this point. However, there's another phase that the Spirit's trying to get us to move into, and we actually need to release that stagnant energy and water within us. And as we do that, it's going to bring a clearing. However, what has to happen when you clear something out is you have to refill it back up, or else the same will come back. And I believe this is what the teaching in the Bible talks about, is if you clear if you rid yourself of one demon and you don't fill yourself back up, then that one will bring back 7 more. So and I see this as an energetic thing. I don't see it as like an actual demon. I see this as like an ego mindset, like holding on to the old and not releasing it, because that's what's called, I really truly, that is what is causing the hellish experiences in our lives. And so, when you release these things, if you don't spend time nourishing your spirit, connecting with your spirit, allowing your guides to lead you, connecting back into your consciousness, renewing your mind, letting go of self-limiting beliefs and doubts, like seeking the support and help you need, doing the things that you need to release and let go of these things so you can move into the next part of your life without holding on into them, those things will come back. It's just this cycle, because I saw it when I worked in mental health all the time. Like they'd come in, they'd have sessions, they'd work for a really long time, and then they'd feel better and they would leave and be like, I'm all better. I don't need to do this anymore. I'm going to go. And then sure enough, a month later, 6 months later, a year later, however long, they'd come back again and have the same issues, just amplified at that time. And it wasn't until I had my own awakening and my own understanding of energy and healing and how our consciousness and our spirit has to be involved in our healing process that I finally got it. Like I was like, is because we're not clearing the energy. We're just putting band-aids on it. And if we are clearing it, we're not filling it back up with something new. So that is where we are collectively right now with the healing and the awakening process. Now, we all will probably be on different stages of this because each of us have our own unique way of doing this. So you may be in a different phase than I am, or so on. But this is what is, if you are not at this place, this is where you're probably going to go. And if you are in this place, then your next steps are to keep filling yourself back up. If you've released it, to fill yourself back up, and then just really seek guidance on what is next for you. And for myself, I do believe that this is where a lot of people are going to really come back into understanding what they decided before they even came to this earth, their spirit decided to do before they came to the earth, and they're going to step into that soul purpose and calling that they were meant to do. Because we were not, I think there were probably some people that were meant to come to this earth and just live a normal, mundane life, go to work, take your kids to soccer. You know, that's just kind of the normal life. So those of us that live outside of that, that are a little bit more woo-woo and crazy and spiritual, we are going to be separate. We're going to look different, and that's okay, because we're not meant to be that. We're not meant to be in that. So we're kind of raising up to the next frequency. And I think I talked about this in my last episode about the 3D and 5D, but we are raising our consciousness. And so we might be leaving people behind, unfortunately, that are not going to be willing to release that old energy and mindset to come into it. Or if they do, they're not going to know how to fill themselves back up. So those who are coming into this awareness and understanding are going to be able to help those in that process to heal. So yeah, it's pretty crazy how a message I got last November finally was like released to me almost a year later about what it actually meant. And I feel excited about it. I feel like myself, I'm starting to get more clarity on my steps moving forward and how to get there. And what I'm supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to offer. And, you know, there's been a lot of confusion and struggle with that, even for myself, because I feel like I've just been like all over the place. I'm like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, and this. And finally, I'm just like, okay, I'm a mindset coach, basically. I help people to release and to move forward and to get out of their own way so that they can heal. So, yeah, maybe you're going to find out something else. Maybe you're supposed to be a tarot reader. Maybe you're supposed to be a Reiki practitioner. Maybe you're supposed to be, I don't know, a life coach. Maybe, I don't know what you will know when you get there. And maybe it's not any of those. Maybe you're supposed to stay in corporate work and be an influence for these people so that they can learn and grow as well. So there could be a ton of things Spirit calls us all to do in our next phase of life. And I do know there's a lot of people feeling uncomfortable right now and wanting to manifest that next phase in their life. So if you're at that point where you're ready and you're not really a life coach, you're not really, I mean, if you are, it doesn't matter really, but if you're in that first phase of like just digging in and healing and just wanting to figure this out and do these energy releases, my 6 weeks course, my 6 weeks healing and manifesting course is 100% going to help you. I guarantee it. If you do the work. Now, you can enroll and you can get it and I can coach you and teach you and do all this, but unless you do the work, it will not work. So I will just say that. Anyways, I am encouraged by the messages coming through. Spirit is really starting. I feel like I'm aligning myself a little bit more. I was feeling very, very foggy there for a while, but I feel like I'm finally coming back into alignment, which feels really nice. Anyways, if you are seeking any support in any of this, if you are a coach, healer, anything that you are feeling like these blocks are coming up and you want a little bit of guidance, I'd be happy to set up a session and see if there's something I can do to help. And if you want to join our 6 weeks healing and manifesting course, it is on my website, www.leaflessons.org, and is under courses. The next one starts October 14th. So I will see you there. I wish you all the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is that you hear this. I send you all the universal love that there is. Namaste.